T.
Miss T. Miss T.
Miss T.
Miss T.
Miss T.
Miss T.
Miss T.
Can't wait for you to meet Miss T. She is the T in T.
All right, so here we are in part 2. Are you frustrated? Now I'm going to teach you 2 things. I'm going to show you 2 things. These are not things that I read in the book. These are things that I've practiced. And these are things that I've developed, learned, discovered over the past 39 years of working with people in trauma-informed communities, in challenging situations, in extreme poverty, people that have to make some very hard decisions just to survive. And so I've spent many, many years working with hundreds of thousands of individuals with real problems. And these are some of the discoveries that I've made just from doing my life work. And so the hope, the prayer is always that, in sharing these things with you, it's helping you too. It's causing you to show up better in life. It's giving you some answers to some questions that you've had that you didn't even know were real questions that you should even ask. And so being frustrated is one of those things. And I think that sometimes it's so normalized that people don't realize it's a symptom that should make you pay attention. I'm going to say that again. When you get frustrated, it's a symptom. So when you sneeze, it's a symptom that you may have a cold or allergies. And sometimes people treat the sneezing and they don't take a look at the source of the symptom, which is treat the cold. But if you're not treating the potential core problem and you're only dealing with the symptoms of the problem, then you'll never solve the problem. And so frustration is a symptom of a whole nother core problem, and we're going to get into that. So 2 things I want you to just document right out of the gate. Write this down. Peace. Peace is the umpire. That's one. And we're probably not going to get at that top. We're going to hit that at the bottom. And then the second thing is anger is a natural, evolved expression with detrimental action if you don't deal with frustration. Frustration will become anger, and anger will make you do things that I promise you. It'll make you say things that I promise you will regret. So you want to check it at frustration before it becomes anger, and then you create something that creases your life and you can't undo it. You can only apologize for it and try to recover from it. So those 2 things, number 1, anger. Number 2, peace. All right, so let's get into this thing. When you feel frustrated, in part 1, make sure you go back and watch it. You do have steps. Number 1, stop. Stop. Look at it. Ask the question, why am I getting frustrated in this relationship right now? Did you outgrow it? Did they outgrow it? Did your interests change and now you don't have much in common because you didn't work to keep things in common? Why are you frustrated in this job? Have you learned everything in this season of the job that you needed to know and now you're bored? Have they added employees that maybe you don't get along well with, that maybe don't get along with you? Why are you frustrated? Ask yourself this question. And if you're like me and you have to ask yourself big questions sometimes all the time because of the depth and gravity of what you do, you may need to get help with understanding and get somebody that can help you get the answer to that question. But you want to stop first when you feel frustration, and then you want to ask why. Now, here's one thing I do know about frustration. If it goes unchecked, you will stay anchored in a time, a place, an emotion, an experience, a relationship, a season that you should no longer be in. It's an anchor for you. And it also causes you to do and say other things that will become detrimental to your growth. And so again, number 1, you want to stop. Take a look at this. Why am I frustrated? Ask the question. And then once you get the answer, take some steps so that you can grow out of it. One of my responses to frustration is, and again, I'm a fighter. When I hear the fight bell, I know what that means. You come out of the corner swinging. So one of the worst things for T that I'm still growing from is Never pick a fight with a fighter. I love a good challenge. I like a good problem. I like solving things. I like helping people. I will fight. I will fight for you. I will fight for myself. I will fight for what's right. I like a good fight. But when I get frustrated, I make sure that I turn that off and walk away. So that part of my development, my growth process, to just kind of walk away from the war, it's hard. And I won't pretend like I have it perfected, because I don't. I still practice it like a good student. I have to grow in it still, and I'm not there yet. That is an absolute truth. But I recognize that if I don't do that in a moment of frustration, because of who I am and how passionate and I have power in a lot of different areas, my emotional response during a time of frustration could hurt people, and it could hurt a lot of people. And so if I don't practice restraint, if I don't practice stop, walk away, I know that responding or working through frustration causes damage. So again, one of the things that I've developed as far as my response and my growth practice is stop, walk away, stop, walk away, stop, walk away. And then when I'm calm, then when patience has had its perfect work in me, I go back to the point of frustration, and then I work with myself or my team or whoever I have to work with so that we can figure out how to resolve this issue so that nobody gets frustrated by it again. Another point that I made in part 1 that you should really go back and watch is challenge, knowing the difference between a moment of frustration and a moment of challenge. You need challenges. Your brain is one of the most powerful things you own. It's this. If you don't gift yourself enough challenge or the right challenge in a season, you will not grow. And your brain is like a muscle. It will atrophy. And so right now we live in a time where, people don't think for themselves anymore. Social media tells you how you should look, how you should laugh, how you should act, what's humor, what's not humor, what's fashion, what's not fashion, what's right and what's wrong, and that's wrong. You want to think. And challenge forces your brain to think. It forces it to problem solve. It forces it to discover. It forces curiosity in a way that should strengthen you here. You want to deal with Alzheimer's, dementia? Keep your brain working all the time. So challenge is not a bad thing. A lot of people like to run from challenges. You run toward it, but you know the difference between a frustration, which will anchor you, or a challenge, which will grow you. It's your job to know the difference. And if there's an a negative emotional thing attached to it, that's frustration. It's not the necessary challenge to cause you to grow. So again, noticing the difference between those two. Now let's go back to what's associated to frustration. One of the ways you know you're frustrated is anger will start to present itself. Okay, so I gotta tell you this. I gotta tell you something. So I have a large organization, and I used to know all of my staff when I was building things, but now my staff and my leadership, they hire people. And sometimes I'll walk into, one of our locations or, one of our experiences, and they'll have this person, they'll come in, oh, Miss T, I love you. Say, hey, it's me. And it's just like, oh, I don't know who this person is because I've never met them. My staff works with them. And so it's just one of those weird things. But we had this person working for us, and this person is a professional in their craft, agreed, everything, right? This little blessing stole money from the company. Now, I didn't know this, okay? I didn't know it. And when I found out about it, I'm like, what is this? What is this? What is this? And I couldn't get anybody to give me an answer. And then once we started investigating, we realized that this new person that we invited with great trust and confidence into the organization to be a part of the team and help us grow, like right out of the gate, they were stealing from us, like literally stealing thousands of dollars from us. And so instinctively, that kind of violation for someone like me who grew up being violated because of what I grew up in, and everybody was a thief. There was drugs, gang violence, gun violence, you name it. Crabs in a barrel was really bad. I grew up in the ghetto, and I don't feel shame or anything about that, but I just did. And so one of the worst things you can do to someone like me who's experienced a good portion of her lifetime in being violated is to violate me, especially when I trust you. So immediately I got frustrated. I get frustrated with the person because the person is broken. The person is sick. For you to do something like that to someone and you barely even know them, you have a whole nother set of problems you need to deal with. So I didn't get frustrated with the person. I got frustrated that it happened. And so I had to stop, pull back, and then because I was so frustrated by it, I'm a passionate person. I talk loud anyway, especially when I'm teaching and coaching and training. But I got frustrated with my team. I'm like, how in the heaven could you miss something like this? Who brought this person into our fold? How did they get access to this sensitive information that create a point of vulnerability for the company where they could get away with this in this short amount of time? And so of course I'm frustrated. And then the frustration turned into anger. And how do I know that? I'm going somewhere with this. I know that because my thoughts changed about the situation. My thoughts changed about the person. So now I wasn't just frustrated that it happened. I wasn't just frustrated that we identified that there's a point of vulnerability in the company which caused us to be violated. Now I'm like, okay, I want to sue this person. I want to do this and I want to take that, and they're not going to get away with this. Now I'm not frustrated. Now I'm angry. And I'm angry to the point where I want revenge. I'm angry to the point that I'm even willing to be petty. So if you find yourself being petty with people, you need to check it. What are you frustrated about and deal with that so that you don't be petty. You don't want to be petty. But that's a symptom associated with anger. And anger will make you be somebody that you know you're not. It'll make you do things that you said you would never do. It'll make you tolerate things that you should never tolerate. But really, truly, the critical thing I want you to really gather out of what I'm saying is the action that's connected with being angry as a result of not checking frustration in an area. And most often when you get angry, anger's personal, baby. It's personal. So when you start behaving in a way where you're personally upset, personally taking action against another human being, I promise you, you do not want to go down that path. And then when I learned, about the expression and the symptom of anger, anger typically is an indicator that someone feels like their rights have been violated. And yes, it can be a protective thing if you're one of those healthy humans that know how to use it that way. But if you like me, I still got to get help with that. One of the last things, I'm like the Hulk. You won't like me when I'm angry. You don't want me angry. There's a lot of potential destruction that can happen for a lot of people, and some of them innocent, when you get angry. And so I'm saying all of this to say that it's important that you check this stuff. Because when your thoughts, I had to learn to distinguish the thoughts that I was having and how they're connected to each emotional response. Frustration is like, ugh, I just don't like it. I'm mad about it. It's whatever. But anger, it's a whole nother set of attachments with that. I used to do this thing, when I was, much younger before I understood what I was doing, but everybody did it. I'm from a family, I got 5 sisters. So, being passive aggressive is like, it's like in all of our little zodiac signs. We all do it. This is our cultural thing. We do. Like, we just passive aggressive. I'll walk right by you in the hallway, pretend like I don't see it. That's one of the worst things in the world is, make somebody invisible. Hated it. But it's an angry response to a frustration that happened that went unchecked. And so, again, growing up with all this stuff, you could really, really, like, again, get on social media and look how petty people are. Look how angry people are. And that's not just like kids. That's like grown freaking adults cutting all the way up. My goal is that you're not one of those weirdos that don't know how to have some level of control and then some level of compassion so that you maintain the peace you need so that you can keep living your healthy life. And so I'm not saying it's not okay for you to have these responses. I'm saying it's not okay for you to let them control you and control the outcomes of your life. That's the only reason we're talking about this today. And so now I want to give you a little something that will hopefully help you. I've given you what you need, I think, to identify. I've given you what you need to know the difference. Now I want to give you the one, secret weapon you got. And it's really not a secret, it's just people don't like it. But I'm going to give you this secret weapon so that it is weaponry for you. So you know what to do when you get in the thick of frustration and the door has been kicked wide open for anger and all the other things that come with anger and rage and all that stuff. You want peace to be the umpire. So peace, if this path, if this experience, if this relationship, if this growth track in my life, if this challenge is not leading me or cementing me or exposing me to peace. Now, don't misunderstand what peace is. Some people think that that's you never gonna have no problems. Somebody gonna sprinkle some pixie dust. You're gonna ride rainbow ponies and everything about your life is gonna be perfect and good. That is not what I'm saying. That is a very false understanding of what I'm saying. And I promise you, that is not the reality of life. You will have challenges because you do have to grow. Anything that's not growing is dying. Period. So if this is the indicator of your life, you're flatlined, you're already dead. Your life should be going like this. Victory to victory, moment to moment, glory to glory, better to best. If you're not doing that, you've already flatlined. So what I'm saying is don't be one of those odd people that think everything is supposed to be great all the time. That is not a truth. That is not fact. That is not the reality of the world or the life that you should be living. You will have challenges, but you will have peace in the process. And basically, peace is you're not missing anything. There's no brokenness in you. You can get through the trauma and the trouble, but it doesn't stay on you. It doesn't affect you. It doesn't impact you in a way that you can't think and see straight. And you're not frustrated while you're trying to grow and live life. You accept that this is a part of your process and you're happy to live it. You want peace to be the umpire. So if peace tells you you're out, get out of there. Like me, don't pick a fight. I gotta walk away. I gotta walk away. I gotta walk away. If peace tells you safe, then you stay in it and you grow in it, but it's your umpire. So you always go with peace. And I tell people this too. Sometimes people make a decision based on money. If you make a decision based on money, I'm taught that 99% of the time you'll be wrong. You will be wrong because you made a decision on money. You make decisions based on, is the umpire of peace saying this is the proper step so that I maintain this peace? You want to know why people get sick and why we having so much problems with mental and emotional and physical health? It's because people are stressed out. They're frustrated, they're angry, they're emotional, and they're just bent out of shape all the time. And they're not functioning in a state of peace. Listen to me. Everything is going to be all right. Everything always ends up all right. Even if you have a rough patch and a bad moment and you get frustrated, you get angry, you yell at somebody, the eventuality is it's going to work itself out. Peace should tell you is, yes, go through the storm, but you will go through the storm and I'm with you and everything is going to be all right. It should be a governor for you. Do I take this job? Do you have peace? Should I buy this house? Do you have peace? To do the work, to come up with the money, to pay the down payment, to pay it off? Do you have peace? Should I stay in this relationship with this person I'm dating? Do you have peace? Peace should be the umpire in your life, telling you how to grow, how to shape shift, how to transition, how to respond when you're in a moment of frustration. If you are not paying attention to yourself, your responses to these things, and the distinct difference with all of them, you will continue to focus and function in muddy situations where you can't even think straight. You know, people lose their minds because they don't know this stuff. So my goal always is to help you the way I help other people while I'm still learning in the process. You think I don't want to knock somebody's block off? Guess what? I 100% do. Sometimes twice in one day in the same experience with the same little God blessed person. But I don't. Why? Because I'm protective of my peace because of all the other things that I got to do that really help people in this world. So, are you frustrated? If you are, now you got some weaponry to help you deal with the frustration so it doesn't turn into anger, so you're not doing the things that's not causing you to prosper and grow and have abundance and the best in your life. That's all I want for you, baby. So thank you for watching this. I hope you don't be frustrated all the time. I hope you start taking the steps so you can learn how to live steadily in a place of peace and not let things trigger you and poke you and make you frustrated and angry, so that you're interrupting the peace, which interrupts your flow, your blessing, your growth, your greatness. Thank you for tuning into this stuff. Remember, I'm doing it for you. It's not because I got to, have all the time in the world. I'm doing 80,000 other things, but I always make sure I stop for you because you're so important to me. If this helped you, make sure you sharing it with other people. Like it, subscribe it, leave some comments, do some notes, share what you're learning and growing in, including the experiences where you tripped and fell. I just told you one of mine or three of mine. I mean, it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. It's not easy, but if you practice it, anything you do once, you can do twice. Anything you do twice, it can become a habit. Anything that becomes a habit, it becomes a lifestyle, and peace can be your lifestyle. You don't have to live on this planet frustrated. You can live in a state of, I'm living my best and I'm going to live better tomorrow, and every day is going to get better because I am aware of what happens when I get frustrated. I'm aware of the danger of what happens when I get angry, and I know the deficit when I don't live in a state of peace. I thank you. Like, share, subscribe, come back again. I always got something. I'm always learning and growing. I want you to learn and grow. Let's stay in this thing together. Let's stay in this thing together until you are at the top of your mountain, dancing and singing and happy and living the life of your dreams. That's what I want for you. Thank you for tuning in to Sweet Tea Time. I will see you again very soon.